Williams, defensive backs coach and defensive passing game coordinator. Donte, you want to have some opening remarks? We'll take questions.
How's everyone doing? I see, some of you all got jackets on. I got a sweater on because, in here we keep the AC on all day. But outside it's, luckily be in Southern California because it's warm out there. But we'll blame it if you all are cold on Clark. Clark keeps the AC on in here.
Right.
Donte, Ryan Young, Trojansports.com. What was the period after the season like? How much uncertainty was there for you? What other opportunities did you maybe have, and how did you get back in the fold here?
The biggest thing for me is, like I always have said in the past, I'm not focused on the past at all. So, pretty much regarding the majority of you guys' questions today, I would like to take everything from like going forward. Not really too much of focus on what has happened here in the past. That's the past is the past. Everything right now we're focused on is making sure that we win championships around here.
Ryan Abraham, USCFootball.com. What do you think of Alex Grinch's scheme? And I mean, it's going to take a little while to kind of learn what you need to do to coach the corners and stuff.
You know what? Schematically, I don't think it's going to take a while. And that's the truth, because one thing that you guys got a chance to talk, to Coach Grinch, is everything is about being simple, right? It's being simple for us as defensive coaches and defensive players, but yet extremely hard for the offense to handle. So I don't think that it'll be hard at all, especially because he's an amazing communicator. So that's part of it. We have a scheme that I think suits our players, right? It suits our coaches to be aggressive, and I think guys are going to go out there and play extremely fast and be really confident in their abilities of, at the same time, knowing what they have to do.
Dan?
Hey Donte, Dan Greenspan with the Associated Press. You said you want to focus on looking forward, but is there anything you learned from your time as a head coach that'll help you be a better position coach moving forward?
I learn things daily. I mean, I'm learning some things today right now sitting in this room. So it's not really about just what I've learned last year or, per se, as I've learned so much in the last month, the last week, and I'm gonna continue to learn. That's, just my job in this profession, to continue to evolve, continue to develop, continue to learn at the same time, making sure that, I have like-minded people around us, like around me. So, it's not just what I've learned last year, it's what I've learned way before that and what I'll continue to learn.
I'm Gross Martin, Orange County Register. Donte, what was it about, Lincoln's vision for moving this program forward that convinced you this was still the right place for you?
It's like, once again, it's not really about what he said in the past as far as his vision. It's every day he's evolving, just like the times are around us. So I guess that's the biggest thing I would say. It's nothing that is stuck even from his past. We're not doing what he did per se at Oklahoma or what he even did last week. As the head coach, you can see his vision, and it's constantly changing to evolve with the time. So when you have someone around you that's extremely smart, that's done it before, like in the past, and done it at a great high level, I'm sure he'll continue to do that because of the way that he works as a person.
Oh, I thought you raised your hand. Did you not?
What's that?
Did you raise your hand?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
Ackerman, again, from media. You've now been a part of two different staffs here. What's changed the most, given from, that you've been a part of the two staffs? What do you think has changed the most?
I can't say what's changed the most, but I could just talk about what we're doing right now. What we're doing right now is making sure, like you said, you have to have a great relationship with these players. So, all these coaches have came in here and they're making sure that they're building, the proper relationship with the players we already have on this team. At the same time, like I say, it's constantly changing in college football right now, and you have things like the transfer portal, right? So right now you can see that we're building relationships, right, with the guys that's on this team, but yet we're constantly recruiting, right? We're constantly evolving, constantly doing everything possible to make sure that we're winning national championships around here.
Antonio?
Hey, Donte, Tech Mouse fans, do you feel like there's a different energy about USC on the recruiting trail now with this new staff, or do you feel like kids are more receptive?
I wouldn't say it's a different energy on the trail. I mean, all I can talk about is like the people on the staff, the energy that they bring to the profession every day. And, this is a crazy thing. The moment that you start looking at this as a job, you will start failing, right? This is not a job, because a job, you go ahead and you punch in maybe from 8 to 5, right? This particular thing is 24 hours a day, because you have players on this team that something may come up or somebody may get sick at 2 o'clock in the morning. You have to be available, right? At the same time, like I said, we're recruiting guys on the East Coast. We're recruiting guys, the Midwest, and Mountain Time and everywhere else. So when you're doing that, you have to always be available. If a guy on the East Coast is free at 7 a.m. in the morning, well, you better be free at 4 o'clock your time Pacific, right? So it's the energy that the guys bring, and at the same time, the want to be here, right? If you have a want to be here, you're going to do everything possible to make sure you succeed where you're at.
Eric?
Eric McKinney with WeAreSC.com. You lose a lot of kind of veteran playing time, corner and safety from last year. What's kind of the message to the guys, the new guys coming in and the returners?
I mean, that's great, to be honest, because at the same time, a place like USC is supposed to be like that. You're supposed to come here and get your degree at the same time, move on to the next level, right? But the biggest thing right now is that everybody's going to get a chance to compete, because there's no favorites for a particular role or a particular job. I mean, they're all going to go out there and they're competing for a role, competing for a job. I mean, you look at all 5 spots in the secondary, it's not a starter that returns. So with it not being a starter that returns, the competition level will be extremely high, and that's what you want, because you want practice to feel like the game. And that's what those guys are going to do. Everything is going to be evaluated, everything is going to be graded, and that's not just what they do on the field, but that's also what they do off the field. And that's what you want. I mean, competition brings out the best in everyone.
Donte, could you talk about the recruitment process of Monty Jackson, just in the fold and out of it, and what that was like to get him back and to come to USC?
Well, Damani's a different kind of guy when it comes to recruiting. Like, I've never felt so close to a particular person, right? Just because he was been a high level player for so long, right? So it's constantly, like younger, you try to recruit him through his coach just to make sure that he hits you up. And as he gets older, you get chances to where you could constantly text him or talk to him every day. So when you have someone that, you constantly recruit on a daily basis, right, multiple times a day, it's a little different and surreal when now all of a sudden they're in the building every day and you actually could get a chance to see him grow as a person, as a player. So I'm extremely just lucky, I guess, with everyone in the building, because we all had something to do with that. It wasn't just me, it was a lot of people that, pretty much pulled Damani back here to being a Trojan. This is always where his heart was, this is where he wanted to be. So it's good to see all those things come into place.
Building up those last 2 questions, how ready is a guy like Damani to compete for a role right away? And what can you say about Makai and Latrell, the guys you brought in there?
Well, Damani, right now he's still recovering from an injury. So you can't say, where he's at for a role. Like I say, all these guys are competing. I don't care if he was a 5-star, if he was a 0-star. The best player at that particular time is the guy that's going to play. That's always been a message, and that, won't change. You look at somebody like Makai, no one, you take pretty much our whole secondary and add up starts, probably, in this league, and Makai probably still has more than everyone combined. So he definitely brings on a leadership type of role. He was a team captain at Colorado. So you're going to get those particular things out of him. At the same time, this is what he wants. This is a player that came here to make sure he's developed to move on to the NFL. And if you're trying to get developed more to the NFL, you have to get used to competing. So it's nothing that's carved out for him. Nothing was promised to him but the opportunity, right? So that's good for him to already be in that particular environment where he knows he's not just showing up and he's the starter. He's, gets a chance to compete just like everyone else. And Latrell is a guy who knows the system. He knows the system probably better than I do. Just, for the simple fact that he had a chance to be in it for a year and grow and develop. And, he gets the benefit of, I guess, actually having a new coach in the system. So now he not only knows the system and knows what that particular coach asked of him from a coaching standpoint, but now he maybe got a couple more things to his toolbox. So he's, just from day one, just stepping on the field, he's going to understand the verbiage, which is huge for a player. Everybody knows how to just run and jump, but the verbiage helps a player play particularly fast. And he brings that to the table. And yet it's another guy that's 6'1", 6'1.5", 190 pounds, extremely athletic. So looking forward to having all these guys out there competing.
Righty, Coach. Anthony Greer from the Daily Trojan. You mentioned earlier the transfer portal. How do you kind of anticipate that impacting your strategy as a recruiter?
The transfer portal is just huge. You just look at it as far as guys that maybe, like we brought up, Makai, just a guy who's played a lot of football games, and you get a chance to right away just pull it up and the guys he's competing against, right? Some of the guys, sometimes you watch film, you don't know maybe who that particular guy is going against, but with a guy like that, he was already competing in the South Division, going against the same guys we were competing against. So you get a chance to truly see him play against the same guys we got to play against last year or maybe the year before. So it helps in that regards of you actually know who they're playing against, what they're doing, and you have I guess, a better idea of maybe some of the systems they were in defensively, or maybe what they were being taught. So you could get a true gauge on like, oh, this guy was getting pretty much taught this, and I can see what he was doing right or what he was doing wrong. Sometimes from, you look at high school film, guys are taught all different particular ways. So you watching the film, and you may think something is a negative, but you don't know maybe that was something that was being taught. Or you may look at something that's being a positive, like it goes both ways. So I guess it gives a clear understanding of knowing exactly what that player was doing and if he was doing it right or wrong.
Coach, so Craig was just reading the broadcast. You mentioned Donte Jackson earlier, and I know he's recovering currently. But when he gets back, is that somebody you see that can be the Donte Jackson type, where not only is he a defensive player, but somebody that can play special teams and sometimes offense?
Well, you know this better than all of us, right? Just in this particular game nowadays, if you play DB, you better be able to make plays on special teams, right? And part of the things I think that hurt us a little bit, and when you lack depth, guys aren't able to play on special teams, right? But when you have depth, just from a competing standpoint, guys are able to go out there and compete on special teams to where it raises, right, our level of play on those particular units. You can win on offense, can win on defense, but yet that's still only 2/3 of the game, right? Special teams is actually a true 1/3 of the game. So, the more depth that you have as far as quality guys that can go out there and perform and play, and if you got guys kind of splitting some time or playing, not 90 plays a game on defense, but they're actually probably playing 55 or 60, now you can get some more of those plays back on special teams where it only ups the ante and raises the bar. So I look forward to all those guys actually being a chance to be able to compete, for a particular role on special teams also.
Thanks, Donte.
Thank you. Fight on.